So I finished Cyberpunk Edgerunners for the first time, and the best way I could sum it up is that basically from episode 1, but especially by third episode onwards, it was the painful train wreck I couldn't look away from. As someone who's a huge fan of the Cyberpunk video game, and I say this as someone who was a fan of it before any patches, ran fine on my Xbox Series X from day one, and I very much enjoyed it. But yeah, with everything they did, quality of life, the updates, it became an exceptionally great game. I knew as soon as I saw my boy David start jam-packing himself more and more with all these augmentations, how this series would end. But I'll be honest, it actually ended more peaceful than I was expecting, and I thank them for that. But it really is like watching a train. And I think what hurts so much, and I think why this show is probably the gold standard of video game adaptations, is that it understood the spirit of this series probably better than any other creator would have wrote it. And that is specifically with David and why he gets himself deeper and deeper into this world. Because this man, he didn't just have to become the Bane level abomination that he is. The whole time. And it's super interesting because depending on your knowledge of Cyberpunk, you're probably going to have different opinions of David over the course of it. As someone who knew this world like the back of his hand, I understood why what his mother wanted for him, which was a corpo lifestyle, was the objectively correct truth. It's not going to be the most, you're going to change the world. You will be a part of a system, but this world is so fucked up that unless you go down that school path, unless you bite your tongue and eat the pile of shit in front of you, you're just going to end up getting murked, or you're going to end up as a junkie. There isn't a good lifestyle. And when you learn that his mother used to be involved in that stuff and why she wanted so desperately for him to do it, it made so much more sense. But if you're fresh into the world of Cyberpunk, you're probably thinking, man, he's going to change it from the inside, right? Like, when you play the Cyberpunk video game, there's argument with your main character on at least they are sometimes attempting to change things. But for the most part, even then, you understand what's happening. But with David, it's almost like watching a man walk through an active minefield, and at so many points have the opportunity to turn around, and he just makes the worst and worst decisions. Like, I'm not saying this crew wasn't incredibly engaging, and I understood the addiction and why he decided to continue to go with them. But there's a moment, like, midway through the show, his principal ends up calling, be like, hey bro, like, seriously, we've been trying to get a hold of you. You can come back, just apologize. And I'm not saying it wouldn't have felt like getting sucker punched in the nuts, but had he done that, his life, man. Sure, Lucy probably would have ended up dead. Everyone else would have ended up dead. So maybe you can make the argument what happened in his life, you know, it's better he ended up dying for them. But it's sad. It really, really is. And I mean, the thing about these cyber psychos is like they never just start off being crazy. And I think the way they handled his mental breakdown over the last few episodes of the show, but especially in episode 10, is seeing it from his point of view. It basically was him walking down a street, going for a walk, talking with his mother. And on the outside, what we actually are experiencing in the world is this maniac laughing, getting juiced up, because every time one of these shots happen, it's supposed to help control his mind, but it got to the point it wasn't even working anymore. To see that and to know this was the end. Like, I thought, best case scenario, when I saw him like this, brain dead and Lucy taking care of him. Like a vegetable comatose state. That could have been the nicest thing. Like, there was no hope for him, but I honestly thought it was going to end worse. I really did. See, the whole episode for episode 10, I'm waiting for a moment like this where she's on top, probably trying to snap him out of it. And I thought for sure he was going to kill her. Because I've seen this so many times, and it would have made a lot of sense. It wouldn't have felt like, oh, it's a predictable cliche. It would have just been the normal expected outcome. I thought either he was going to stab her or shoot her and come to, and she'd be like, David, it's okay, you know, something like that. Thankfully, she actually was able to pull him together. Which is wild, because anyone who knows anything, and I think this show did a good job at explaining how these augmentations can fuck with you and turn you into a psycho. But especially if you know of all the stories in the game, like, in theory, he should have never been able to pull himself after this moment. And he did. And I mean, Jesus Christ, the violence speaks for itself. Like, it got so bad that eventually I started laughing when characters died, because I'm like, what do you mean this man fell ass first onto her like that? That's just brutal. But the fact that only 2 of them made it out, and the fact that he gave the money, he said split it between the 2 of you and live. I mean, I can respect it. I really can. It's a violent show. It's very graphic. And sometimes you'll hear me compliment shows that are able to get around not showing violence, but still having it feel emotional. Because sometimes when you see characters' eyeballs fly off and blow apart their skulls, it is too edgy. But I think it really works well with the art style they chose. And I think especially because of how violent it is, there's only so many moments where you get shots like this and you're like, fuck, this world is beautiful. For a brief moment, you get to end with just knowing that despite all the bullshit, you actually get a moment where you can truly feel like, damn, this world has something to offer after all. I was really concerned she was going to off herself. I thought once she got out on the moon, she was going to take her helmet off. It's bittersweet as fuck. It is not a happy ending, but while I am a sucker for a good happy ending, I'm also a sucker for a ball twister ending, and that's what this was. And I think while some people would probably watch Cyberpunk and be like, damn, this is like the most devastating ending, it's the farthest thing from the most devastating ending. This feels like about as good as an ending could have been. And I don't think David surviving and him being like almost comatose or in a padded cell because of how crazy he is would have been more happy than this. I think this is about as good as it could have been. Maybe one other character surviving. I leave very satisfied with this show. I think it's fucking wonderfully produced. I know when they initially dropped this, it was a binge release, if I'm not mistaken, and everyone like was watching it in like a week's time. I watched it over 10 weeks, and I think it's the optimal strategy. Not saying it wouldn't work in a binge, and I'll probably rewatch it. I watched it in Japanese, fucking loved it. Hear the dub's good too. I'll rewatch it, binge it in dub, but I do think shows like these being able to really sit week after week was the optimal experience for me, mainly because I thought about this show damn near every day of the week. I'd just be sitting, I'd be doing something else, and I'd be like, man, that fucking car crash is going to happen next week. And it just was such a good experience. Like, this is a 10 out of 10. I think whether or not you're a fan of Cyberpunk the video game, anime only to this, you will have a damn near perfect experience. But yeah, this is one of the rare examples of how to make something in a world from a video game, have it feel like they understand the lore and how to actually write a story for that environment, but also have it stand on its own two legs and not just feel like fan service for the fans or shits on the game lore. Like, it's the perfect video game adaptation, if you ask me, and I think they've talked about doing more Cyberpunk anime, but with different characters. I think that's a smart idea. Leave loose the story and the gangs as it is here. I loved it. Do you want to catch my full live reactions, though? I did all 10 of them over on Patreon. Very fun experience. I loved watching it. So fucking good. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Head on over to the Patreon for those. But, yeah, until next time, everyone, take care. Let me know what you thought of this masterpiece. Have a good one.